Ian, are you okay? You look a little scared.
Is he? Are you frozen? I think he's frozen now. Oh.
I was just looking at my face. I was like, this is
It
my
feels
script.
like somebody is going to appear to your left.
You do.
And they did. Somebody just
I
did.
just saw that. I just saw somebody. What the hell?
Oh my God.
Stop.
Anne-Marie. Totally Anne-Marie.
Stop.
Or Ezra again. Is Ezra up there?
Is he? Ez?
We saw a face. I saw a face.
I did too.
I saw Jesus.
In a piece of toast?
No, in your window.
But he was eating toast at your window.
He
That's
was.
fucked up.
Was. Well,
No,
so-
that's fair. All
was
of
the-
nature is
Yeah.
Jesus's breakfast nook.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that applies.
It's the
Wow.
Trinity.
That's a great
Father,
bumper sticker.
Right. It's long. It's pretty long.
the Trinity, Father, Son, and Holy Toast.
Oh,
Oh.
Wow, man. Dritz got us right into the episode.
Not
yikes.
bad. Not bad, Dritz. You were on a roll, buddy.
I can't. Ez.
Pressure's off now that he's told his story.
I can't tell if that was Ian's.
It is Jesus.
It's Ezra.
God, it is. It's totally Jesus.
I really wasn't off with the Jesus thing.
How do we make it stop?
I don't. I got nothing. Do I look scared?
A little bit.
All the time.
Hey, this is Steve with the Punch Up Podcast. With me on this episode are Dave Dritsas,
Hi, Steve.
Kevin Regan,
Hello, Stephen.
Ian O'Shea,
Steven?
and our storyteller is Mary Carpenter. Mary, welcome.
Hello, Steve. How are you?
I am good. Thank you for asking. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm all right. Yeah. It's Thursday, so the week is almost over. That's not bad.
It's a good night, right?
It is. So, if I was going to title this story, it would be My Year of Living Shamefully, I guess.
Ooh.
With Mel Gibson?
Oh, I wish. That would have been great, but a little inappropriate too, because it was when I was in 5th grade.
He's had a lot of problems. I'm not sure that was one of the problems.
Yeah, let's not add that to his baggage. It was 5th grade, and it was just the year where like everything went off the rails. To preface it, I've said this before on the podcast. I'm the youngest of 6, and at that point, I was shy, and I was like the person who, did everything that I was supposed to do. I was a rule follower and
Dutiful.
church and actually listen, and I would I'd look around church and be like, everybody's just reciting. It doesn't sound like they mean what they're saying.
Oh, so you were like a judgy little 5th grader. You were like,
But no, I was like earnest and wanted to but I don't know that I had any personality, right? So I think I was just sort of like, this is probably why I eventually became a performer, because I think like people would just sort of say like, you should do this. And I'd be like, okay.
Yep.
Apparently I used to eat everything until my sister said, ew, vegetables are gross. And then I stopped eating them because I was like, oh, you must know better than me. Everybody must.
Mary, this is a Catholic church you're in, looking around?
Catholic church. Yeah. Not for the vegetables part, but yeah.
No, right.
So
The judgy part.
the judgy part for sure. That's definitely where that arose. So from kindergarten to 4th grade, I went to Roland Elementary School. And that was where I was. And it closed at the end of my 4th grade year. And they split up the school into, you either went to Wayne Elementary or Ithan Elementary. So
What happened to Roland? Roland was just cast aside.
It was cast aside.
it was closed for awful asbestos contamination.
It was because they didn't have enough enrollment, I think.
Were all these schools just named after people that lived in the town?
You would think. Maybe.
Wait, why did enrollment go down? Was there like were there children disappearing? Were like,
I think people just stopped having sex. I know my parents did after 6. So anyway, I went to Ithan, and a whole bunch of people went to Wayne, and that was
You went to Ithan, you said? Ithan?
Ithan Elementary, and it was your 5th grade year. So 5th grade, it's like that first time that you feel like the big dog, right?
Yeah.
Who chose? You or the parents?
The district, depending on where you lived.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You didn't have a choice. Okay.
No.
So typical Catholicism. No choice. Go ahead.
You just go.
Always works.
So you're going to Clint Elementary School?
Wait, they weren't called. It was Catholic school.
No.
No.
Public.
Yeah, St.
Oh.
Wayne. You don't know St. Wayne, Dave? That guy was something. Oh, you went to St. Ethan. Not as cool. Not as.
I think it's pronounced Ethan.
It's a dialect.
And then, of course, years later, they reopened it because they had enough enrollment.
People started having sex again.
They did, yeah. So anyway, I'm spending my 5th grade year at a school where I didn't, I only knew a few people. It felt like your whole ship had been tipped, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know where I stand and who I am.
Did you have any friends follow you to Ethan?
I did. Nice segue, Steve.
Thank you.
My best friend since like kindergarten, Lori Hanisch, who lived sort of across the street from me. And we were
For 4 years.
Right. Yeah, for 4 years.
That's a long time, though.
It's a really long time.
It is, because our bond was cemented in kindergarten, where she tells me this. I have no memory of this. The way we first met is we were at the blackboard doing something, and I put my hand down on the chalk tray. And she said, I lifted it up and looked at it. And then I turned and I showed it to her, and there was a thumbtack right in the middle of it. And she always remembers that as like how we met.
My friend Mary with no feeling in her right hand.
Or stigmata. Like, this kind of girl could not be.
Yes.
That woman to this day forward just pricks people with pins all the time. It's the only way she feels real.
It is. It is.
She cuts other people?
She cuts. She's a cutter, but of other people. Anyway, sorry.
Yes, and she was my best buddy there. And to just sort of catalog a few things that went wrong that year. One thing was like, it was the first year you're supposed to play an instrument. The school provides you instruments, and I chose the flute. And I one day left my flute on the bus. And because I was so terrified of getting into trouble, I lied and said I left it at home. And I did it repeatedly until one day the teacher said, "Oh, you mean this flute?"
Your bus driver ratted you out.
Right. And I was like, yeah. And I just, because I could not, like, I'd never done anything wrong before then. I just felt awful. And then there was another incident where, like, I lost a bunch of work. I can't even remember specifically how, but I didn't turn it in. And I kept lying about that until I got caught by the teacher, who was a terrifying teacher. And she eventually was like, well, you have to come in at lunch for this many weeks to make up all that work. I had no sense of self whatsoever. And another thing that happened later in the year, I broke my wrist on the playground doing some fancy, stupid ass cartwheel. And as a result, I couldn't dance in my ballet recital. I couldn't do my solo.
With a broken wrist? Why couldn't you dance with a broken wrist?
Because back then they casted you. I was cast up to here. Like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so I had to stand there and hold the maypole for everybody else to dance. It was just like bad.
Tough year.
The worst part, however, was, so there was this girl who was really popular, and she was actually friends with my sister for a while first, and then became friends with me.
She was in your grade, but she was friends with your sister.
Yeah, and I'm
Who's
not
older
quite
than.
sure. I don't remember exactly how that was, but my sister was pissed at me when she became my friend.
That's how popular she was. She's hanging out with
Older kids. Your older sister.
Yeah, but who is older by 14 months.
But
Still.
the next grade, that's still a lot.
It is at that time.
It's not to be dismissed.
No, it's,
At that age, they could have whole different parts.
yeah.
You know,
Let's just move past that, because that's very Mel Gibson-y. We'll just move past it.
It was a little Mel Gibson. So anyway, her name was Janet, and she was really cool. And we had made plans at one point. We were going to go on the Gong Show together. We were going to.
I'm sorry, real quick. You're suggesting this girl may have had a penis, or
Why are we going back to this?
I'm
joke.
just catching up with it.
I was making a puberty reference. That's all, Ian.
Sorry.
He just
I
had
don't-
the word part.
You know,
I don't want to explore this.
Well, I think now you kind of
We
have to, Dave, because it's been
No,
put
we had
out
moved
there.
on. We had moved on from this.
I agree with you, but
I have
you
a-
brought us
hang on.
back, and now
I-
it's a sticky
I-
wicket, but we're here.
I have a question. So you wanted to go on the Gong Show, but what was going to be your act?
Nice save, Dave.
We were
Really
going to
nice.
do a
Really nice.
routine to Only the Good Die Young by Billy Joel, because we didn't know it was about losing your virginity. We just thought it was a kicky song. So we had like a dance and we were going to sing to it. And then, when I got older, I was like, oh, this would have been inappropriate. But
I'm just learning this now.
I didn't know that either.
yeah, it is. Come out, Virginia. Don't make me wait. You Catholic girls start much too late.
Uh-huh. Oh,
Virginia.
that is kicky.
Yeah.
But is sex death then? If only the good die young, is sex death then?
Virginia, the state.
Anyway.
So obvious.
Wait, then what's West Virginia in this picture?
Oh,
Just
stop.
That's
The dirty
hang
cousin.
a little.
West Virginia lost its virginity before it was West Virginia.
To its uncle.
yeah,
When it was just the Black Smoky Mountains.
because it was related to Virginia and there was we all know.
Maybe West Virginia's butt stuff.
Anyway, so I was so excited. But as a result, Janet was kind of getting me to, or convincing me to kind of drop Lori as my friend. And I don't know why, but she would like sort of whisper in my ear, things like, oh, Lori this, Lori that. And, and I was just so glad that a popular person was
Oh no.
interested in me. I didn't drop her in like a mean way, but I just stopped kind of hanging out with her. And
People love that.
Janet sounds like Regina George.
Yeah.
she was a little bit. She's not now. She's a lovely person now. But at that point, there was this constant sort of influence. And I was very much like the little puppy, like, okay. Yeah, like I said earlier, I kind of would do whatever somebody would tell me because I feel like I didn't have any personality and was not interesting.
Well, you're the youngest of six. You're
Popular.
used to being told what to do and where to go and what
Right.
to eat and who to like. And yeah, it's just,
And
it's so tough.
everybody in my family was so much more interesting and funny than I was, that I was just like, okay, well, maybe this will make me interesting.
This feels like the plot of Wicked.
So at one point, Janet told me, she said, you know what? You should call Lori out.
No. Wait,
Janet?
girls do this too?
Yeah.
They do. Oh
They
boy.
said, like, for those of you watching who don't know, to call someone out means to like challenge them to a fight.
Yeah, that's
Right.
that's what it used to be. You
White
called out, that was a
suburban
fight.
Girls who are 10 years old, right? What the? And I was like, what do you mean?
Well, did you have like a beef, like like something happened or like an
No.
influence?
Not that I remember at all.
This went from Mean Girls to 3 O'Clock High.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she just basically said, you should call her out. I think she was just like that sort of like instigator.
Yeah.
So do you think, looking back at this point right now, you could take her?
Right now? Wait, I think the Mary of right now could take that 10-year-old kid. I'm
Lori.
putting money on that.
I probably,
I agree. I agree.
I could just sit on her.
And say, why are we doing this?
Yeah,
Do you
this
do you
is-
still know Lori now?
Yes, I just went sailing with her last weekend.
Awesome.
Who won?
Did she capsize the boat?
Come on my boat.
Yes. Put this plastic bag over your head.
Yeah, it's a life bag, like a life jacket, but it's a bag.
It goes around your head.
It was a long time that Mary was.
Tie it tight. Tie it tighter.
I'm going to duct tape it around your neck so it looks pretty.
We've gone from Mean Girls to 3 O'Clock High to Ozark.
And also, don't forget Dave's weird thing about like a girl growing.
No, we are moving on from that.
We'll circle back.
Yeah.
Anyway, so of course I did. I called her out. Like ridiculous, right?
And 10 years old, right? 10 years old.
10 years old, fifth
Yeah.
grade. Ridiculous.
Did you do it like in a note that said like check yes, no, or maybe?
It was like I call you out or be my best friend.
I can't even remember. I think it was probably like Janet was standing behind me. I was like, hey, I call you out. Like,
Oh man.
stupid. It's just, right now I still feel so much guilt and shame
Oh,
over it.
it's so
Yeah.
awful.
That's rough.
So
You are Catholic.
yeah. So we were going to meet at lunch one day. And at this point, like it had grown. So like people were gathering
It
to watch.
always does. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
something to watch.
Yep.
Once one kid called another kid out, it just went to the school like
Oh, yeah.
news. Like,
Spectacle.
did you hear? Did you hear? Did you hear? Did you
Oh,
hear?
yeah.
Who needed texting? People just like it was a whisper network.
So we were in this little tiny hallway. Like there was the cafeteria, and I remember this clearly. Cafeteria, then these double doors, and then this short hallway before you went out to like the blacktop, and then the
The
playground.
arena, the fight ring.
Right. So we were in this little hallway,
Short hallways where
in the
shit
double
goes down,
doors,
yeah.
right?
Yep.
And that's where we were going to fight.
Okay.
And so there were some people around. In my mind, there were a lot of people. It was probably three or
What
four.
was your friend's name? Was Lori?
Lori. Yeah.
Lori. And when you called her out, was she like, "Why, Mary"?
I think so, but I think she had also seen that I kind of dropped her, and there was, you sense these things as
Yeah. So was Lori like, "Fuck yeah"?
Yeah.
Yeah.
so. And
I've been waiting for this.
She's like, this person stopped being my friend, and now she wants to beat me up.
She had her own Regina George in her ear, and she's like, okay, all right.
she was entitled. I mean, and Lori is like rock solid, like salt of the earth, unbelievably stoic, like, incredibly capable. Like she's amazing. And here's this stupid ass, like, I don't know who I am. I call you out.
My money's on Lori in that fight.
Yeah, you know what? I changed my mind. Even Mary now, I'm going Lori then. I'm sorry.
Lori wins.
Hands down. So we're standing in this hallway, and then there's this kid who's kind of like the scrappy, like almost like bad kid, but I hate using that word bad kid, but like kid that we would have termed the bad. And his name was Mark.
Was he on the undercard? Like he was the first fight getting ready for the main event?
He was on every undercard.
Did he wear a Jeff cap?
He didn't have a Jeff cap, but he had this kind of wild, kind of unruly, reddish auburn hair.
He's definitely bald now, without a doubt.
Was he Scott Ficus from the Christmas Story?
Yes, Farkas.
Did Farkas, whatever his name is?
Yes. And he's there, and before we're going to and I have no idea. I'm terrified. I'm like, well, I don't even know what to do. What am I going to do? And he's like, and he says, all right, so guys, this is how you have to do this, right? So this is how you fight. And he's showing us these crazy moves, and then he like kicks his leg. He's like, it's like karate, and he kicks his leg through the window of one of the double doors that leads to the cafeteria. And we all fucking scatter. Like,
hell yeah.
We're like, oh no.
Oh, shit got real.
Yeah, we're suburban white kids. And this is like, we scatter and pretend nothing has happened. So I got
scatter
out.
inside the building.
Right. Well, we ran out. Like
They're in the small hallway out to the blacktop. They go out to the blacktop, and they're all just smoking cigarettes.
At 10.
Because it's lunchtime at this point. And then, of course, later on, probably later that day, Lori and I got called into the principal's office.
Ooh.
And we get this talking to.
And you really get a chance to fight.
We never got a chance to fight. And we get this talking to, and we're just like, And we left the principal's office, and we kind of looked at each other, and we just burst out laughing. We're like, this was ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
And we've just been great friends ever since. Like,
why did you two get called in?
I'm sure they called in several people, and they eventually wound back. Like, this is why everybody.
You think there's a lot of tight lips in 5th grade?
Not when a window gets broken.
Oh no, not when your parents are being called.
What were you guys doing? What were you guys doing in that hallway? Mary was going to kick Lori's ass, and the short kid kicked the window out. I think my parents are getting divorced. I have diarrhea.
Very much.
I think we just got a window into Ian's childhood.
But I don't know if they even called my parents, because my parents never talked to me about it at all. I think it was just like, let's talk to these kids.
Yeah.
Obviously, kids.
But back then, they didn't necessarily always call your parents.
No.
Like, a lot of times they just resolved it. And unless it was like escalated past that, they would call your parents. But like, those were days when like you could get in trouble for something and never say a word to your parents, and they would never find out.
Well, it was pre-litigation, right? It was just like when teachers and schools could do shit, and they could reprimand you without having to call your parents, because they'd be afraid of getting sued for telling your kids that they shouldn't fight.
To Mary's point too, I went to Catholic school for 12 years, and like the code of silence in a Catholic school is a real thing, man. It really is. So,
well, that's chilling.
Yeah, that is chilling.
It is what it is. I know it's chilling, but
it was
This is how we cycle back to Dritsas's Lady Bits.
I wasn't talking.
What is the deal with that, Dritz?
I just think Dave didn't want to say boobs.
I was making a puberty reference.
Now that he just said boobs.
No, I wish I had just said puberty.
You were making pubic references?
No, puberty.
Yeah.
Puberty. But yeah, so that was my, like, I still carry that around.
Yeah, that's amazing to me, Mary, because I don't know if it's sexist of me or naive or what. I just never. I mean, I know that girls would sometimes get into physical altercations, but like it literally ran the exact storyline that every boy has been involved. Well, I don't want to say every boy's been involved with, but that idea of this person did this and you should do this, and all of a sudden you're like, why am I here? I didn't orchestrate this. What the hell is happening? This is stupid. But to your point too, very often when two boys or males fight, they become very good friends afterwards. You didn't even have to do the fighting because women are way more evolved. So it was like, this is dumb. We don't need to fight.
Because they have lady bits.
They do. There was a part of me that was so relieved that happened, that Mark Curtin did that.
Oh, yeah.
Have to fight, because I was realizing as I'm standing there, I don't have any idea what I'm supposed to do now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, oh my God, just awful. I cannot believe Lori is still friends with me, but.
I love it. But you guys go sailing.
My question is this, and I'm sure they won't watch this. I'm sure Kevin will edit this out, but who do you like better today, Janet or Lori?
Lori.
It's definitely Lori.
Please send this to Janet.
That friendship did not last. Did not last. But Lori.
Oh, I thought you said Janet's a very lovely person today.
Well, I connected with her on Facebook, but I don't think I've talked to her.
She seems fine.
Yeah. You're going to go to her page and she's going to be like an anti-vaxxing Trump voter. You're going to be like, oh, God.
Then we don't want her listening anyhow.
She's not.
You never know.
Based on the numbers, I'm going to go with Ian on this one.
Have you guys ever called out anybody or been called out?
Oh, yeah.
I once punched. So we had a kid. It's sad, really, because he died young and in a.
Dritz, you killed someone, and you're just getting to that now at the end.
No,
of the podcast?
Well, it's funny.
He's
like
wearing a black T-shirt.
Mary said, like, there's that kid that like everyone thinks is bad. You know, he probably wasn't that bad. Like this kid actually was, and wound up. I think
and you killed him.
I think he wound up getting chased. He was robbed a house and got chased by cops and died in a car crash or something like that. But he and I got along fine. It's just that, like, I have a little brother and he's 5 years younger than me. So I would be a little protective of him. And I think it was like in 8th grade and he was like in grade school and something at recess, and he was a shy kid when he was younger. And I guess I was talking to him and was feeling a little protective. And this kid cursed in front of my little brother, which at that time was like, you don't say bad words. And in my family, we really weren't allowed to say words like that. And do
you remember what the word was?
Oh, I probably shit. I don't know.
Like,
I don't remember what it was. And I said, don't. And I was like, it was the one time I got brave, because I was a small kid. It was the one time I got brave. And I was like, don't curse. And we were only class sizes of 20. So every kid knew each other pretty well, even if you didn't like them. And so like, I was like, don't curse in front of my little brother. He was like, I think he said, I'll fucking say what I want. And I was like, and I don't know what came over me. I never fought. And I punched him. I threw a punch and hit him right in the face. And it wasn't, like this. It was kind of, it was from a distance.
That's called Dritsas haymaker.
It was from a distance. So it didn't really, it was from a distance. So it didn't hit him that hard. Like it just kind of like, wasn't enough to like knock him over or anything. But like, I think the shock on his face was such that he was like, did you just fucking hit me? And like, but there must have been some weird bully code or something, because he looked at me and he's like mad, but he sees my brother and he punches me in the gut. And that was it. Oh, and he's just like, don't do that. And he just goes, don't do that again. And he walks away. So like, and I, to this day, interpret that as he respected that I was sticking up for my little brother. Yeah, he wasn't going to let the punch to the face. Because I'm telling you, this kid, if I punched him in the face, I was getting it back in the face.
Yeah.
So, because, you know, where I went to school, like there were some city kids and some not city kids. And so we had some kids that were a little rough around the edges. And it's ironic actually, because his family had a bit of money, but like they
that doesn't matter.
They were like a little rough. And like I've seen at my school, even though we were like a small suburban school, I saw some knockdown fights where it was like fist to face and blood. So like it was those things where like I hit him in the face and I was ready. I was like, I'm gonna get punched in the face, but I just got like a gut punch and it hurt, but it definitely was one of those things where it was like, I think it's good that you're sticking up for your brother, but I'm not gonna let you get away with punching me in the face.
We're good.
Schoolyard fights, man. It's funny because a lot of times it would be, the whole buildup of I call you out, 3:00, whatever, and then the circle forms, and there are the two kids. And Mary, to your point, this is likely the first time these kids are ever in a physical altercation, maybe with like a sibling, but like not like this. And it's usually the worst fight you've ever seen. It's pushing and this is men. Or not men, they're boys. But I will say, in grade school, there were these brothers, Antonio and Octavio Di Prospero. They were, I like it. To remember those names, right? This is grade school.
Were they a traveling circus act?
They went by the nicknames of Tony and Tata. They were awesome. But one day, we were playing like football or something like that, and they were on opposite teams, and they got into it. And it was, to this day, I've never seen a physical altercation like this.
Wait, they physically altered themselves?
They were twins. They were twins, but they...
Not after that.
The shit out of each other. Like, the punches, and everyone was like, whoa! And then it was over like that. They were completely fine because they're brothers, and they probably did it all the time, and that was it. And I was just like... So anytime someone was like, I call you out, I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah, how do you get out of that? Like if somebody calls you out, like that was the thing is like you had to accept almost because like I got called out and it's like can't you just be like, no, thank you, no.
I'm busy.
That was the whole thing. It was a game of chicken in grade school because getting called out was like, you're gonna be here. For us, it was always after school. It's like, I call you out after school. Yeah. And like, it was one of those things. It was like, are you going to do it or you're not? And they were banking on maybe you chicken out and you forever.
I think the fear was chicken. If you didn't accept, you would be picked on the rest of the year.
You were damned if you were, if you damned if you didn't.
One of my lowest moments for sure.
No, you didn't do it. It's great. I'm so proud of you.
I just want to know more about Janet and I want to know who else she manipulated.
We know what you want to know about.
Yeah, just ask Drits. Just ask.
You guys are writing a story that doesn't exist.
Go for it, man. We're all friends here.
Really, Dritsas, you knew what you were signing on to.
Now I just want to take Dave's sex ed class because I don't know what that looks like, but sign me up.
I do have a story about that, but
next time.